Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Shut Up and Enjoy the Show. My name, of course, is Tiny Tim TJ. Tonight, our special guest is a small independent artist. So, the CEO of Phantasm's Enclave. There he is. I don't know. I don't have any fancy introduction for him, but either way, though, tonight's special guest. Come on in, man. I sent you an invite. You getting him in? What's up?
Everything. What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. So, first, how you doing, man?
Chilling. Getting kind of pissy because of that fire alarm up there. I haven't changed the battery in 8 years. There's that. So if people hear that, I just gotta say that right off the top. I apologize. But I'm doing good.
Very, very nice. Alright, so, for any potential newcomers in here tonight, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Komplex Mothra, the self-proclaimed Devil of Three Omens, and formerly the world's worst juggalo rapper. Yes, that was officially my gimmick. I have been nominated for Replicon Radio Awards. I have been nominated for Sammy Awards. I don't know. I'm just chilling, making music, doing stuff. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Very nice. Very, very nice. So, we'll start this interview off with the most important question. How did you start off making music, and where did the name Komplex Mothra come from?
Well, that's two very separate questions because when I started off making music, I was a meme rapper, and my name was originally Coupon, but it was spelt all fucked up, kind of like how Eminem is spelt all fucked up. Hopefully, I can swear on here. I apologize. And I switched to Complex Mothra shortly after because I was like, oh, I'm kind of complex. I'll just use that as my name. And then I was watching a Godzilla movie. I'm like, Mothra, I'll add that to it. So really, there's no real deep meaning to any of this. It's more just whatever. How I started making music, I excuse me, just had tacos, so I got a little bit of indigestion. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. I was dared to write a rap. I was always known as like the metalhead kid, so I didn't know much about rap at the time. But I had a lot of family members that are very into like West Coast stuff, East Coast stuff, all sorts of different things. So I looked into it. I wrote a rap. It was me talking about how I'm a nerd. I go to Comic-Con and all that sort of shit. And people really liked it. My mom posted it on Facebook. Started listening to ICP and that sort of stuff while I was making meme rap, and I kind of pivoted sort of because of Ouija and ICP, and later Twisted, because I had no idea who Twisted were. When I first started rapping, it was during the Juggalo March. Twisted wasn't there. So I didn't know who Twisted was at that time, but I did my research.
Right. I got you. So, how long, if you haven't answered this question, how long have you personally been making music?
Oh, God, I gotta say about 5 years now.
Alright. Long enough, I've been doing it. Alright, so, What artists slash like who or what in general inspired you to start making music?
Other than that first initial dare, Ouija Mac has been a big inspiration. Twisted. Uh, been getting into a lot of underground stuff, Little Darky. Listening to a little Atlanta stuff as well, but mainly like lyricists. So I'd have to go with Tech Nine, Hobson, Eminem. You know, all the things that would label me a cracker.
So, um, when you were still a meme rapper, how did you start off making music slash like how did you record your first couple of songs?
I used what I still use. I used BandLab and I used Audacity, and I, you know, fiddled with it a little bit. And even now, I'm not the greatest at it, but it's certainly been an improvement. So it's been just get the beat or make the beat, put it into the program, record my vocals over it.
Right, right. I use BandLab as well. For since like what my seventh song, it was absolute garbage. My seventh song was absolute garbage because I didn't really have. Well, I mean, we have a microphone downstairs, but I didn't really know how to hook up my BandLab into that system. So I went ahead and just like yelled at my phone and hope it picked up my vocals good.
I feel
And
that.
it was horrible. Oh my god, it was so bad. I think I think I either deleted that off the face of the earth, or I've just kept that up and deleted the EP that I did like that off the face of the earth. Because, dear Lord, it was bad, and I, you would scare me if you found that EP somewhere. If you like screen recorded it and you played it for me, I would punch you probably.
I
Not
feel that with a lot of my early stuff too. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this. I deleted my SoundCloud for a reason, buddy.
absolutely. I still have my SoundCloud up, and that has some of my best and my worst work. But you pull up some of my old songs, and you're gonna scare me for sure. So, also, by the way, I put a link down to your Spotify. So if anybody in the chat isn't listening to Komplex Mothra's music, go ahead and do that as well. Man, I'd like to I would like to just take a quick second to announce that you and me got a song going on. I'm
Yeah,
not I'm not gonna reveal the name of it, but we do got something in the works and it is fire so far. I still gotta put my verse over it. I've been, cooking kind of, not really. But
I feel
I've been trying
that.
to. I cook but no one ordered. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to get that done right now, and best bet it'll be out like after my next solo single, which I already practically announced, but it's whatever. Because, man, my last four tracks in a row have been features. The first feature was with my boy Hungry Ghost. The second was with Royce Barcar, which we all know and love.
hmm
The third one was with my man Hatchet, aka Madness Infused Chaos. And this fourth one was with one of my own, Sicko Freddy. So, I man, I need to slow down on these features. I just locked in like so many features at once, and a lot of features for my upcoming album as well. So like I gotta slow it down, do some solo stuff because like solo
right.
stuff is fun,
hmm
but you know what? Features are just all the more better because for one, I gotta write less, so
Yep.
that puts less strain on my brain. And second off, it's just fun to see what they can do with your beat. Like you pick a beat, you get a beat from somebody that you like, your producer, and you're like, hey, can you put a verse on this? And like you just wait and wonder what the verse is gonna sound like, and when you get it back, it's always so good.
Oh yeah.
I love the finished product of features. Like it just comes together so well. I think on my last album, I only had one major feature. Two Bones, One Stone had one major feature, and it was with my brother Jamie, my actual brother. And the only other like feature that I could say that I had was like a bunch of different just random people that I DM'd to say like, hey, can you say Two Bones, One Stone? And that's got like everybody from the Sudom family at the time, Mid South, JB Spade, Chuckles, PK, Clowney, my boy Angelo de Guzman. There's just a whole lot of different people that I'm like, hey, can you please send me this one sentence, please and thank you, that I'll put on a song? And
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it came out horrible, but I could have made everybody else's vocals a lot quieter, a lot louder, and mine a lot quieter. Yeah, that's all I'll say. But it's still a pretty good song. It's called The End. But either way, though, enough about me. So, if you have one, what is your favorite song that you've made?
Favorite song that I've made?
Yep.
I want to say favorite song that I perform. It's my favorite one that I perform, Neclonomicon. I always go over the top with that one. As for favorite song I've made, I am proud of a few things on this upcoming project.
Right. Speaking of which, would you like to, well, we'll get to that in a second. So, this is hypothetically, this is a hypothetical situation. If I could somehow summon your first song into my computer and play it for the entire world right now, how proud would you be of it?
I would cry.
Yeah. Pretty, pretty straightforward. I've gotten answers from I would cry, I would cringe, I would leave the live, I would punch my camera, to people like legit, genuinely asking me to play it because I don't know, they were proud of it, I guess.
Right.
I'm not ashamed of my first song, but I just sounded so different, and I'm so quiet. Like I didn't like my first song was a Christmas parody, but
Really?
like yeah, it's called Christmas Catastrophe. It's a cover of Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to record a song. Like I went to the Gathering 2022, and I was like, I want to do this. Like I would like to do this. So I recorded that first song, and it took so long to mix and get everything done. So I said it was going to be out on Christmas, and it took until New Year's Eve to finally upload that. But oh my god, I'm so terrified of that song. Like if you play that song, I'm going to cringe, cry, probably turn my head the other way. It's so bad. It's so horrible. I pray that one day that song just gets lost to history, and I hope it already has. But either way, we all have songs we regret, and Christmas Catastrophe is one of them.
I regret half of my catalog.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I regret some of my songs. I just wish they were a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I wish I put as much effort into it as I do now, because
Yep.
I've like heavily slowed down with making music. I release maybe one song maybe like 2 or 3 songs per month, and that's if people are getting lucky, and most of them are going to be features because like I don't have to write as much. But I used to release like a song every other day. Like I'm pretty sure there was a point where I would just like make a random beat and then pick it and then, put lyrics on top of it. And like I genuinely wish I had that grind that I did back then that I have today, cuz I've barely written anything for this album that's coming out in 2 months.
Oh no.
I gotta lock in chat. It's fine. It'll be great. It'll be great. Either way, though. So, let's actually get into that album. First off, what is it called?
I'm gonna abbreviate it and say GDB. If you look on my page, you know what it's called. Glock Dookie Bukaki. The name is a double entendre. It means the piss shit comeback.
Oh, all right, all right. And could you give us a direction for that album?
Yes. No, I have no idea. I'm taking a little bit of everything with this album. I'm trying to put some stuff together with my brother. Um, Trying to put some stuff together with my my longtime friend Nate. Trying to just make sure that this is the most complex project that I've ever released.
Right, right. It says on the cover that it's all the like rare, scrapped, and forgotten stuff. Correct?
That's what it was supposed to be. I was going to release an album called Exodus, but listening back on Exodus, I wasn't happy about it. I took pieces of Exodus and put it on this new project, and I have new stuff that I'm putting on this project.
Right.
The main problem I have with Exodus is I was in a very bad headspace, and I was pointing fingers, and I was saying things that I shouldn't have been saying.
Right, right. I can agree with that. I said some things that I shouldn't have, and some songs that are never going to see the light of day again because I deleted them. Like a couple of about a week before I went on my hiatus because I was forced to. I wrote a song that was essentially a note. That's all I'm going to say about it. It was a note
Okay.
that I should not have been writing, and it 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 explained that I was in a horrible mental state, and I felt like I didn't do anything, and I felt like I wasn't going to be able to do anything. So, but luckily, I'm very proud to say that I'm in a much better state now, and that song will never be seeing the light of day again. Plain and simple.
Right on?
I deleted it, and plus it was a beat that it it was a pretty crappy beat, anyways. I think either that I made or I took from somebody that I used to know, but either way, it was just a garbage song in general, and I'm glad that it's not going to see the light of day again. Either way, though, so I'm pretty sure you and I discussed that our song is going on that album as well, correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm excited to hear all of that. So, for the album, how could you describe like the writing and recording process of a couple of songs on that album?
I crack open my energy drink. I open up my laptop. I think, what is going to fit on this beat, or what is going to be the most outrageous thing I can say, or whatever the theme of the song is. I write it down. I open BandLab. I put my beat in. I record it. I try to mix it and master it as well as I can. And
Right.
for the features, I do that, but I only do half the work.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I like features so much because I only have to do half the work. I mean, I still have to get the beat, write the chorus, write
Mm.
my verse, and then paste everything, master everything, mix everything because I do all that myself. But you
Mm.
know what? I'm getting the verse so I can just sit back and enjoy what I did while I wait for this other person's verse.
Right.
So, it it's fun. Features are always fun. My first feature was actually a song that I was featured on. I think I'd have to go back and check my catalog, but my the homie Mid South Monster. Everybody's heard of Mid South
Mm.
Monster. You go to anywhere, you're gonna know his name. But anyway, the man Mid South Monster. We did a thing where we interchanged songs. I got him on a song which was pretty terrible, and he got me on a song which was pretty good. And that one song, well, I will say that one song and then the next song that we recorded turned into an entire EP. And those are like the first couple of songs I do genuinely bump from my music, even though it was hastily done.
Yep.
We got it all finished in the span of like maybe 6 hours. all the writing, all the recording, and everything. We just stayed on that grind and recorded 5 brand new songs in 6 hours. Like, it was actually crazy. And like I said, I wish I had the grind that younger me did, because now I'm just sitting here. I haven't written anything in like 2 weeks, and I just gotta I gotta lock in. I really have to lock in.
I
But
feel that.
yeah, I think a lot of it's just writing block. Like, I always get it before my albums, and then like once the deadline actually comes out, I should like cook genuinely.
Yeah.
But either way, though, I'm very optimistic about this album. It's really going to be some of my best work, and I genuinely believe that. But I'm waiting until next month to start officially recording, because I want to let my voice get as deep as it can before I actually start recording, because this voice isn't going to last. Like, I'm so happy this voice isn't going to last, but I'm going to wait for it to at least get a little bit deeper before I actually go into the recording process. And I hope I'm hoping for October and November, and maybe even a little bit into December when it comes out. But I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But anyways, so um, what was the idea for your label, Phantasm's Enclave?
Honestly, I was leaving another group at the time, and I just wanted to protect my music, so I set up my BMI, I set up everything. It wasn't supposed to be anything big. I was working with Clud. I don't know if we're kind of dealing with some stuff internally right now, as politically correct as we can say it. It's not that we're fighting, it's just that he's busy and has a life, and I also have a life, so it's one of those, we can't coordinate much. But the central thing was basically, I need my own thing, because everyone else in the area has their own thing if they are successful, or they are by themselves and have their own thing.
Right. That's essentially how I created my own thing. Like, I don't sign to like labels or get on other people's collectives or anything like that. Mainly because I like running my own thing, and I also think that being independent is a lot. It has a lot more benefits to me, because the artists that I do have on Sudom, like, they are allowed to essentially do what they want, and if they sign to another record label, oh well, c'est la vie. Like, I don't know what else to say, because like, I don't have them legally binded down by any contracts,
Right.
so I can't really like, oh no, you have to stay with us, you're under contract. Like, if
You want to know what the contract I sent Clud was?
what's up?
It was literally just the sentence, he's signing it, I can't believe he's signing it, over and over again for 2 pages, and he signed it in crayon. It says, fuck you.
That's crazy. That's insane. But it's whatever. Yeah, but I'm very proud of the artists that I have on Sudom. They're very, very quality artists. They're pretty much everybody in Sudom is everybody's working. Uh, of course, I have my big album. Bad Fang has the Gaiden EP. Sicko Freddy has the Sicko Tapes EP, and then Philosophy releasing his debut single soon enough. And then I'm pretty sure Dead DZ's working on something.
I love
But
these.
I love DZ. Like, that's my newest brother. Like, that's how it is. I literally just like called him one night and said, "Hey, you wanna like join my collective?" And he was like, "Okay, send me some details and we'll get it done." Like literally same day I asked him. A couple hours later, it, music just works that way. It can work faster, it can work slow. But either way, though, besides the label or collective that you left prior to creating Phantasm's Enclave, were there any other record labels that you signed to or collectives that you joined before everything else happened?
Oh boy. I've been trying to avoid this, but this question always pops up. Um, I was with a group called Legacy Artist Productions, ran by a man named Mark. It wasn't the best fit for me, and it kind of came crashing down after I left. And they signed someone the day after that I was actively beefing with at the time. But they also had my my best friend on that label still as well, so it was kind of like a deliberate fuck you, I felt. So that is the main thing. But collectives, I've tried to get into a few of them, Upstate Bridge, Zero Friends Club, but they always treated me like a joke, so it's like, okay.
Right, right. Getting treated like a joke always sucks. Like, take it from me, a 15-year-old horrorcore rapper. Like, I've been judged on my age, my height, my size, the fact that I sound like this, the fact that the fact that I don't swear in my music, the fact that, I'm kind of named after an Australian ukulele singer. Like, no, I'm not. Everybody always confuses me for Tiny Tim. Like, you look up Tiny Tim, I'm gonna pop up, and that freaking poser's gonna pop up. Like, I don't really know. I don't really like. Yes, it is on my logo, and it's
Mm,
used to be what I advertise myself as. But my name has always stuck as Tiny Tim TJ, and like
right,
TJ is an abbreviation of something else, which I won't go into because it's not trying to be who I am for my complete musical career.
right.
Well, TJ stands for the Juggalo. I am, like, technically my full name is Tiny Tim the Juggalo. I just don't use it for anything. Because, like, while yes, I am a rapper who is, like, an avid Juggalo and Juggalo supporter of, like, all things that
Right.
are psychopathic, everything Juggalo, I don't want to make that my just entire, like, gimmick. I don't want to, like, so many people now are just like, they think they can hop on the bandwagon by saying Juggalo every song and
Tell
wearing
me about it.
wearing the face paint. Like, you wear face paint as well, which I can respect, but it face paint is such a tapped out game. Like, every Juggalo rapper thinks that they have to have face paint, and like, yes, I've had face paint in the past as well, but you know what? I abandoned it because that is not what I wanted to really be.
Uh,
But
I respect that. I wear the face paint because I like the face paint. I don't wear it because I have to.
right, right. Like, you're wearing your bare face right now. Like, that can be your look, or the face paint can be your
Right.
look. I wear the glasses and the beanie mainly because I hate my face, but I don't really do the face paint. Like, it's just really not a thing that I enjoyed, that I ever really enjoyed, and it stains my face predominantly is one of the reasons that I really don't like wearing face paint. Like, I still will on occasion, but I don't like it because it really ends up staining my face, and I just don't like the face paint. Like, props to whoever wears the face paint, like, including you. Like, everybody's face paint looks very good, but I just would
Not for
rather,
you, yeah. I
yeah,
feel that.
I would just rather differentiate. Again, I'm not trying to make a juggalo my entire gimmick. Like,
Mm,
yes, I am a juggalo. Like, I throw out my whoops every event that I go to, but I'm not trying to staple myself just as I'm just a juggalo rapper. Like, I collaborate, like, a lot with people who aren't juggalos or
mm,
have been juggalos in the past, or are, like, they listen to ICP and everything, but they're not really juggalos, if you get what I'm
right.
saying. Like, I don't want to just make juggalo like, oh, you're a juggalo rapper, you have to collaborate with juggalos, you have to only listen to ICP. Like, no, that's not really what I want to do
And
with my.
plus, the people that say you only have to listen to ICP are tool bags. Um, because there's so many good artists, even outside of the Juggalo world, and even inside of the Juggalo world. It's just one of those, listen to what you want to. I like Chapel Roan, and I like Metallica, and I like Eminem a lot. Does that
Right.
mean that I'm any less of a Juggalo? No.
No, like I don't know. There are a lot of musical politics that everybody just gets way too into, and
Mhm.
I stay out of it because like I don't really want to get myself so involved in the politics that I am now dragged into it. Like
Yeah.
that is not what
Pol-
I want.
Politics and drama, especially since the divide, which I have only been in this after the divide, which is the scary part of it.
Right.
Um, it's just one of those you can't like one. You have to like one or the other. Chocolate or vanilla. I don't care. I want a swirl.
Right. Right. Give me the swirl. Like
Right.
the swirl just tastes better.
Right.
Like I don't know what it is, but it just goes better together than apart. But that's all I can really say about it because everybody who watches this gonna be like, oh Tiny Tim, he wants them back together again. He doesn't support what they say. And man, it's not that I don't disagree with what they did. It's just that I come from a point of juggalodom where we weren't seen as like outcasts, or we were seen as outcasts until we weren't.
Right.
Like now, you kind of have to be a juggalo to be cool. Like with the Drake wearing the Ringmaster jersey, I agree with
Don't
Jay. I don't
say that guy's name.
with with the PDF
Yeah.
with the PDF wearing the Ringmaster jersey. I don't think that he was actually wearing that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a juggalo. I agree with Jay on that. I think he was wearing it as like a fashion statement.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, these guys are cool now. I'm gonna wear their jerseys and everything. Like that. I don't know I don't know what it is about it, but it either way though. We're rambling on. We're
Yeah.
rambling. So, we're reaching about the 30-minute point of the interview. At the 30-minute point, I would like to ask if there's anything that you would like to plug or promote, or anything, questions, comments, rude remarks, anything like that. You have the floor until the next question.
Okay. No rude remarks. This is actually going beautifully. So thank you for having me on your show. I got a show coming up October 5th if you're in the Syracuse area. Small little show, small little venue. Me and my boy Nate, but he's going under his alias The Psycho. Another gentleman named Trapstar JLB, hosted by a cowboy who's going to be drunk. His name is Dorian. It's going to be a fun time. $5 to get in. You can't beat that. Tickets at the door. Um, and then also the album that I'm working on. And then I think that's pretty much it.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Um, so say you got finished doing a live show and somebody comes up to you and it's like, Komplex, I like what you perform live, but I kind of want to get more into your music. What, like, if you have 3 songs, what 3 songs would you recommend for them to go listen to?
Pussy clapping, neck clown nomicon, women don't exist.
All right, very straightforward answer. I like that. I, I in my you are the 40th person that I have interviewed on this show, so congratulations. The tens are always very special to me. Uh, episode 10 was Michael Lawless.
Oh,
Episode
that's fire.
episode 20 was Schizoderata. Episode 30 was Wirehead 411, and now episode 40 has been you. So, I always like my tens episodes because episode 10 is a really big milestone because like Michael Lawless, it's Michael Lawless.
Yeah.
Like, and episode 20 is because episode 20 is like the first interview of my return. And I could have done better because I kind of lost my interviewing mojo, but I got it back like after the next episode. Like I was very apologetic to Schizo because like there was a lot of like blank time that I had because I didn't really have any of my questions written down like I do now. That's why I keep looking at my computer every episode. But because like I have a terrible memory or I have a great memory, and for little things like this I have a terrible memory, unfortunately. So I have to like go back and just look at my questions and just like check if I'm doing all right on time and everything. I monitor the live on my computer as well, and I just make sure everything was all right. But I didn't really have any of that for Schizo. I had the computer, but I didn't have the questions. I was barely monitoring the live, and it was a lot of empty space. So Schizo, if you're still watching this, I do apologize, but I'm very glad that you didn't take it to heart. And I still like that interview either way because it was the first interview of the return of Sudom. So thank you for giving your voice for an hour, man.
Shout
And
out
then
to Skip.
a week
So
and then a week later I appeared on his album. So no hard feelings, obviously. But either way, the big episode 40 is Komplex Mothra, of course. Uh, like I was saying though, wait, what was I talking? I like my 10th episodes. I like all these episodes. Like I've got some really big heads on this episode before, but like I also stay loyal to like the small ones, like yourself. Like you're still coming up in the underground scene. Like I don't just do like, oh, you have to have a minimum of like 10,000 followers. Like no, I don't play that. Like you could like literally
what
I've got
Juggalo rapper has 10,000 followers is my question.
no, that's fair. But you know, like I I've gotten at least like 20 like DMs from just random people or artists that I've never heard before being like, "Hey, can I get an interview?" And I'm like, "Okay, send me your name, send me some of your music and we'll get it done whenever we can." And like I do a lot of different genres. Like I don't stick to primarily horrorcore or primarily rap or anything. I've interviewed singers, I've interviewed like Ken Carson type artists. I've interviewed like dubstep people. Like I've interviewed artists from all the way across the spectrum. Like I don't stick to one genre because if you stick to one genre, you're missing out on a bunch of different people. Like
Oh,
my homie Clasile,
100%.
for my homie Clasile for episode 31 or 21, like that was a great interview. I enjoyed that interview, but he's not primarily a juggalo rapper, and like I still took great pride in interviewing him because like even though he wasn't really like a juggalo as an artist, he was like still a homie and like a person that has been asking for an interview for a while now. So I'm glad that I finally got his over with, and it was a very dope interview. And you know what? I'm very glad that you have come up with us today because like these interviews are always a great way to dig into people's minds and just meet people. Like the Michael Lawless interview turned into a song, and then that song turned into him taking me under his wing for like the entire float and like chilling with me and everything. Like that was a great thing to see because like I'm 15. I don't
Yeah.
get a lot of people who recognize me. I don't get a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, that's that one. Or
Mm.
well, I used to not. But after like all these interviews and all this music, like if you say my name, somebody's gonna know you. Like somebody's
Yeah.
gonna know. And I take great pride in that. You know what? Because you know what? I'm Tiny Tim TJ. That's what I want to be. Or of course, where we belong, man. All right. So either way, enough of our rambling. Jesus Christ, this has been one big ramble. But so beyond the album that you have coming out, are there any other big projects that you have planned for the rest of this year or the future beyond?
I want to do more shows. It doesn't really count, but between the shows and a few features that I am working on right now that I can't say much about because they're going to be singles, that's pretty much it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um. Ooh. Speaking of live shows, I'm glad you brought that up. How many live shows have you personally performed at?
Not many. This next one's going to be like my fifth. Um, if you're counting shows that I've performed on that aren't mine, then the number goes up to like 20. But
Yeah, just shows that you
oh,
performed at.
shows. Okay, in general, and 20 or so.
Okay, okay. And how many shows have you just watched to like spectate as a fan?
A good number. Not many that I can pin down specifically, but I've been to punk shows in the local area. I've been to rap shows. I've seen Ouija. I've seen different people. I've seen Fleshroy Leak live, which was they're the homies as well. Um, just a lot.
For sure. So, this can come from a perspective of performing or spectating. Of the two, like, you can answer for either or. What live show has been your personal favorite?
When I saw Ouija, because he was my favorite artist for a long time. He still holds a very close spot in my heart. Last year at a venue called the Song and Dance here in Syracuse, I went. I saw Ouija Mac and I saw the Zero Friends Club and all them, and it was good.
Right, right. And for of the shows that you have performed at, what has been your favorite?
I want to say the last one I did. I was a little anxious, to be honest. It didn't run smoothly as I thought, but I had a lot of people there that I know and I respect and I trust, and it was a fun time. It just wasn't as run as smoothly, and we're gonna try and run it the same venue, the same people again, just better.
Right, right. I can respect that. So, is there anything that has happened to you or that you've experienced in your musical career slash just life in general that inspires how you make music or just how you are as an artist?
That's a tough one. Um, I might need a moment for this one, to be honest. I I don't want to just flat out say mental illness, because that doesn't really cover everything. Just dealing with mental illness, if that makes sense. Like being able to, because I've been diagnosed with a bunch of different things. I am on the autism spectrum. Am speculated to have schizophrenia and such. So it's one of those. I'm still learning about myself as I'm learning how to make music. So it's one of those.
Right, right, for sure. We've all got our own mental problems. Like mental health
Mm,
hits all of us collectively. Like I don't think if you're an artist that has just come off the streets, you're gonna experience some mental health issues,
yep.
like self-esteem issues, issues with
Mm,
oh, do people actually like me or not? And most of these people have like had thoughts of just like giving up. Like every small artist, including myself and most likely yourself, has had thoughts of
yeah.
just giving up. Like
Mm,
I, I've thought about just taking off my beanie and throwing in the towel like several times. But you know what? I don't
all
because
right.
music is what I was here for. Like I genuinely believe that I'm doing the best that I can with what I have, and it has turned out great for me. Like I have a bunch of great features coming up, a bunch like a literal new album coming up. Like that cannot be said for most people, even like your age or my parents'
Right.
age.
Right.
Like most people have like given up by now, and honestly I like people, so many people can respect my grind and my energy and the fact that I haven't given up yet because I live in a school where everyone hates you except for maybe four people. So when I first started making music, everybody like hated on me behind my back. Like they said, oh
Right.
yeah, newest up and coming rapper, but like they all were secretly like, oh, this is so garbage. And
Right.
like, I didn't listen. And for a while, I would let people play my music around me because I didn't care. Like, just free listens, man. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Makes
Thanks
me
for the third of a cent.
makes me more
Yeah.
money. Well, I guess. Makes me that little 1/16 of a
Yep.
penny. But either way, like, yeah, we've all had thoughts about giving up, but you know what, we don't, because music is what we were put here for.
Right.
So, what music or what in general has inspired you to keep going?
To keep going? Uh,
Yeah.
Honestly, it's just been more of a I want to prove that I can do something. Because I do get the people hating behind my back and everything, even today, and it's more of a okay, if you're not gonna fuck with me, then do it myself. So
Right.
that's kind of been my big motivation. Uh, when you first said things that inspire me, I was gonna go on a whole list of things that inspire my creative process, but nothing like no music or whatever has really inspired me to keep going.
Right. Right. I get I get a lot of different unique answers for that question. And some of the times people answer what keeps them going, and the other times people answer what music keeps them going.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time they answer musically, and I don't get a lot of answers of like just life keeps them going. Like they always have, oh yeah, this type of music keeps me going, or this type of music keeps me going. I don't hear a lot of like, oh yeah, this in my life keeps me going. But for the Abe LinkedIn interview that I had on Monday, he straightforward said his kids, and like, you know what, I can very much respect that. Like you got to do it for your family, because if you give up on your family, you're giving up on everything. Like
Right.
that's just plain and simple. Like he doesn't want his children to watch him give up, because that's going to give them the mindset of, oh, they can give up too.
Right.
And you know what, I can respect that. And like I always tell my artists, don't give up. Please do not give up. Like I'm 15. I've thought about giving up so many times. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
genuinely listens to me. But you know what? I don't give up, because I'm confident in what I'm doing is great, and I can make something out of it. So,
Right.
like giving up is not an option. Uh, if you really want, take a hiatus. Like go off the
Yeah.
music for a little bit. Focus on your mental health, or try to fix your life. But giving up is never an option, unless you are genuinely confident that your music is terrible and you never want to do this again. Giving up isn't an option.
My music is
But
terrible and I still don't want to give up.
it's not terrible. So think about your entire musical career. If you could go back, if you had the power to go back and change one thing about your musical career, if anything, what would it be?
Colin, don't sign to Mark.
Oh,
Yeah. Um. Other than that, probably don't be a dumbass. But that's more just general advice.
right. I thought you were gonna say something witty like, "Oh, get that smoke detector fixed" or something.
No, no, that's part of the brand now. It's fine.
Fair. That's fair. Just beep,
Yep.
beep. That's part of the brand. You know what? I can respect it. You've had some for so long, it just becomes a part of you.
Can't even hear it anymore.
So we got about 10 minutes left. Um, is there any interesting stories that you've had as an artist, or that like just you've experienced through your artistic career that you wouldn't mind talking about?
There's quite a few. Um, there was the time that I was at a Legacy live stream because it was during COVID. We were doing live streams at the time, and um, I was throwing up. I,
Right.
I I went upstairs. I started throwing up and throwing up and throwing up. I did my paint. I came back down. I'm like, I'm good. I performed. I went back upstairs and started throwing up. My buddy Nate, he's like, he's really throwing up there. He performed and he's throwing up.
Right.
So,
Right.
so that was fun. And then there was the time that I first did the tennis racket spot, like officially. Because the first time the tennis racket spot was introduced, it was not as grandiose. Nate kind of snuck up behind me, and somebody wanted to jump him, and someone else had to tell him it was part of the show. When I first really did the tennis racket spot, people were like, "Oh, this is different," because it was at Funkin' Waffles, which is a waffle restaurant in the area, and they got a little stage and they do open mics. I'm like, okay, I'm starting something new. Who's Booker or whatever? Who set up the open mic? Pat walks up, hits me with the tennis. Pat is the guy who set it up. Hits me with the tennis racket. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna perform 2 songs, and then someone else can hit me with the tennis racket. And people are just like, okay, who is this guy? He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's got face paint on. He just got hit with a tennis racket. Now he's rapping about murder. We just had someone cover Taylor Swift, so this is out there.
Right.
But other than those 2, there's no real significant ones.
Right. Right. For sure. So, until I ask the big question, the floor is yours. So, if there's anything that you want to talk about or plug or questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, the floor is yours for a little bit.
Nothing I want to say here. I'm going to be doing my own live stream tomorrow to clear some stuff up and to apologize for some stuff and a few other things. I appreciate you bringing me on this because I saw you did Schizo, I saw you did Roy, I saw you did Mr. Among. So I do appreciate you bringing me on here.
Of course. We always give everybody a chance, and you know what? The interviews are always great. Komplex, Mothra. And you said that live stream is going to be on your YouTube. Well, you didn't say it, but I'm just going to assume.
Maybe. I don't know yet. YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, I don't know yet.
I'm going to go ahead and put a link down to your YouTube anyways, because I'm like that.
Right. Thank you.
Of course, man. Like that. It's always good to see other people doing stuff. Like, I don't really like when interviews get slow. So, like, when an artist gives me, like, yeah, I did this, and then this happened, and, yeah. Like, I don't like those type of answers.
Okay.
I don't ask yes or no questions. I ask questions, like tonight, I ask questions where it requires you to go into detail and it requires you to think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ask yes or no questions because if I ask yes or no questions, the interview's going to be done in like 15 minutes.
Right.
And like, I don't want that. I want like hour-long interviews or hour-and-a-half interviews and like interviews where I can like just chill and chat and go into depth with these people.
Mm-hmm.
But like, when artists give me just like 3-word answers, I don't want that. Like, yes, we all know your name. We all know that you did this. We all know that you're doing this. But just like go into some detail. Like,
explain
give us
what you're doing.
Right. Give us what you're doing. Like, I once had a person who I asked to describe who they were, and they were like, my name's this, I do this, and yeah. And they just kind of like froze up on me, just kind of looking at me, just. And like, it was still a good interview, but like, I don't really want those types of questions. I don't really want those types of answers.
Mm-hmm.
I want, like, with my interviews, I always receive good compliments because like my questions apparently are really solid, and like Risk last night messaged me and said that it was one of the best interviews that he's hopped on, and you know what, I can take great pride in that because like I I didn't really intend on doing this as like oh yeah, I'm gonna get some really big names on here. We're gonna chop it up, you know.
Right.
I just did this as like a side thing. This is my side project.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Shut Up and Enjoy the Show is not my main thing. Like, I've been mistaken for a podcaster quite a few times, but I'm a musician who also does podcasting on the side.
Right.
But a lot of my traction comes from podcasting, and that's why this isn't a job, but like these interviews are still fun because like I get to talk to people like you, and I've got to talk to like everybody on LSP. Well, not in interviews, but I've got to talk to a lot of people on LSP about interviews or just about music and everything. But a lot of my traction comes from me being a podcaster who also does music on the side. And no,
It's the other way
literally,
around.
it's literally the exact opposite. I am a musician who does podcasting on the side.
Right.
But like, I don't mind when people bring up my podcast because like, yes, I like doing this. Like, this is a good show. Like, I don't really consider this a podcast. I consider this more of like an interview series. But like when people call it a podcast, I don't get offended over it. I don't correct them because like you can think whatever you want. Like, sure, this might be a podcast to you, but for me, it's just like a thing that I do for entertainment. Because that's the goal with being a musician or a podcast or anything, is just entertainment.
Right.
Like, you want people to be entertained. Like, for my show, like, I was absolutely getting it. Like, for my one show that I've ever performed, which is the one song that I did at the Float, I absolutely like killed it. Like, everybody was complimenting my performance, and it's because I've seen so many shows and I know what the people want. I don't like if I'm going up to a show at the Float and I'm getting so hyped, like the last person just killed it, and some guy walks out with like a guitar and just sits on a stool and starts like strumming it and doing nothing. Like, that's gonna bore me. Like, that's going to bore the audience, and you're not going to get a lot of viewers. Because, like, sure, your music might be all right, but what are you doing to entertain us?
Right.
Like, because especially with like the daytime artists for like shows and everything, at night you get pretty lights, but like at night, you like their light shows and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But at day, you don't get any of that. Like, you gotta entertain people to keep the crowd going, and that's why I respected people like Whitney Payton at the Gathering and A1 Shawty at the Float, because A1 Shawty, we formed like a crescent around her because she wasn't on the stage at all. She was in the crowd, like, and like I saw Scum, Class, and Smalls One just sitting there, just vibing to the entire show. Because, like, you know what? That is good entertainment, and that is good music. Like, that is what I want to see. Whoa. But either way, very entertaining show and very entertaining float. Have you ever been to a float?
I have not. You froze up, man.
Yeah, apologies. You gotta come at least one of these times because the float is a killer event.
I've heard.
Oh man, it's killer. Like, I remember the entire experience vividly. Like, it was such a good event, such a good time. I got to meet a lot of the people that I've now done interviews with. Like, it was a very, like my homie Mid South in the chat saying, float recommended. It is a very dope event. So, on that note, though, it is getting about to be the hour point. So, I would like to ask you the big question. So, you could be, I say this every episode, you could be Violent J, the Insane Clown Posse, or you could just be a random artist that I rip off the streets. I'm going to ask you this question. So, a young, struggling artist comes up to you and says, Komplex, I'm really struggling with music. I don't think that I'm going anywhere. I think I might just end up calling it a career and quitting. What advice or speech would you give to them to help them continue with their music?
I felt that time. Let me start over. I felt that a million times, man. I really have. I have basically thought I was going somewhere and had to take 2 steps back. But you know what they say. It takes 2 steps back to walk 5 steps forward. You got this. You just have to evaluate what you're doing. If
Right.
you
Right.
can figure out what you're doing wrong or look at what other people are doing right and maybe make it your own, not exactly copy it, but make it your own, then I think you're going to be all right.
Right. And like, first of all, why are you quitting?
Right.
Like, what is really making you quit? Like, if you believe that your music's terrible, then like, get on that grind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're all here. We're here for a good time, not a long time, man. Like, if you believe that your music's garbage, just just sit down and evaluate what can you do better musically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I've had to do multiple times. Like, I've just had to sit here and be like, God, my music's pretty garbage. What can I do to improve it? And that's the steps that I've taken to now I'm doing what I'm doing and getting so much traction. Well, so much. I'm getting traction
Right.
because I'm doing the best that I've ever done mentally and musically. Like a couple months ago, I would not have said that. I would have said like, oh yeah, I would end this. Like I would end everything because I didn't enjoy who I was. But you know what? I'm living that good life. I'm happy. This is the one time in my life where I do not want to leave music.
Right.
Like I'm very, very happy. Tim, your brother's being in it. Oh, I can hear Mid South. Trust me, I can hear it. But either way, I do like to quote the great Michael Lawless of LSP in all of these interviews when I say, if you love what you do, you have had thoughts about quitting.
Mm-hmm.
It can be anything. You can be a janitor, a mechanic, or you can be the most famous musician in the world. If you love what you do, like you are going to have thoughts about quitting. If you don't,
Right.
then you're not really enjoying what you do. But in a lot of these interviews, not everyone, but I do like to quote a person that commented on the Warhawk interview. Um, anything can ruin a passion once it becomes a chore. Like I don't do this as like a, oh, I have to. Like I don't have to do music. I don't have to do the podcast. I don't have to support technically anything. But you know what? I do because I love doing all of this. Like this is what I want to do. But like anything, like literally any passion can be ruined once it becomes a chore. And like I stand by that, and I always will since I've heard it because like it, I don't want the fact that I think that I have to do this to ruin the fact that I want to do this.
Right.
Like it, music is a journey. Like you gotta just guide through this hopeless thing that we call life, and just like if you're getting hated on, take it with a grain of salt. Like brush
Right.
it off your, because if you're an underground artist, you're going to get hated on. Not everybody's going to love you. Like not everybody's just gonna be immediately like, oh yeah, there's this new underground rapper. You like him? Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, of course, we all like him.
Right.
Worship. Like no, there's going to be at least one outlier who doesn't like your music, and you know what? I do it for them as well,
Mm-hmm.
because you hate me because you ain't me.
Right.
You hate me because you never had the balls to hop on the mic and actually say the things that I'm saying. Like I don't swear in my music, but I talk about some pretty gruesome things.
Right.
You know why? Because I'm a messed up person. And I had the cojones to sit here and be like, what do I want to do? What do I want to be musically? And this is what I want to be. I'm enjoying myself and having a good time rapping about, gutting people.
Right.
So that's what I want to do. But either way, I think that is a very great note to end it. I want to thank you so very much for hopping on, man. This interview has been a really long time coming,
Right.
and our song is gonna be super dope. I'm just gonna come out and say it once it gets out. Like I really am trying. I do apologize for the delay, but I've explained that I'm experiencing some major writer's block right now. So just
I
give me
feel
a
it.
minute. It will be out as soon as I can. Like probably after my next solo single, because I have to slow down.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, Uh, and you don't have to apologize for the delay or anything that you did that you apologized for when I got that. Like, I've had verses take weeks to get there, but you know what? It always works.
Right.
Uh, and I'm very proud of everything that I've done, and I'm very proud that like I have features with the many great people that I have features with, and very very many props to you for giving me your voice. Like, thank you for taking a chance on me, and everything like that. But um, again, thank you so much for hopping on, man. I'll talk to you after the interview, and you can go ahead and see yourself out. Whoop whoop,
Ready.
and
Whoop, whoop.
peace out, man.
Peace.
All right, so I ain't got much left to say. If you did enjoy, of course, follow Komplex Mothra on all streaming platforms and on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you got. Follow me, Tiny Tim TJ, on streaming services, and Tiny Tim underscore the Juggalo on Instagram. Follow us, shut up underscore and enjoy the music, so you never miss another episode of Shut Up and Enjoy the Show. We got a lot more planned for this week and the future indeed, so please be sure that you all tune in. And good night, whoop whoop, and peace.